Well, the Indian Consulate in Brisbane has been targeted by Khalistani Goons beside two temples which have been threatened in Sydney as well as Melbourne. In fact, these attacks are happening again in Australia, where there have been several such attacks in the past as well. This time around, none other than the Consulate itself in Brisbane has been attacked by the Khalistani Goons. Remember, in the past, here on Times Now, we told you how two of the temples have been threatened. Many of them have been attacked, and while graffiti have been written against India and against Hindus across several of the other cities as well. And this time around again, there are two temples which have been threatened in Sydney. On your screens, you can see what had happened in Melbourne at the Vishnu Jain temple, the way it was vandalized, as well as anti-India graffiti which was splashed across the walls of Melbourne. And this time around, very disturbing news. This time around, it is India's own consulate. This is an official building and it is considered to be Indian territory. That consulate in Brisbane has been targeted by the Khalistani Goons. The reason why this is very, very significant is because there seems to be a Khalistani revival, a pushed agenda globally, which seems to be coming together. And because it's not just in India, where we've seen what is happening at the Ajnala police station, even as we spoke about it, there are attacks which are happening on the Indian consulate by the Khalistani mobs. And of course, what has already happened across in United States, as in United Kingdom, as well as in Canada, we have seen anti-India graffiti which is there. But and policemen have been targeted in Punjab. And again, we have these international plot which is slowly uncovering across in Melbourne as well as several other places. We have seen these attacks which have happened. And these graffitis, wild graffitis which have been written, are anti-Hindu in nature but pro-Khalistani. Which is why it is important for us to see the larger picture here, which clearly shows that Khalistani mobs are now on a rampage. There's a concerted, orchestrated and perhaps a very well-funded system which is now being put into place to try and revive the Khalistani movement. The 80s are something that everyone had dreaded. The 82 is what the BJP is saying that we are returning to under Aam Aadmi Party in the state of Punjab. But it's not just restricted to Punjab, it's not even just restricted to India, where there seems to be a Khalistani revival. Even across in Australia, the Indian consulate in Brisbane has been attacked. Now, we are still awaiting for more details to come in to figure out what happened in the attack, what is the form of the attack, if there are any injuries or any damage to property which has been done, and what is the form of the attack. But the initial reports are very, very disturbing that the consulate itself has now fallen under attack by pro-Khalistani, suspected Khalistani militants. Let me go across to Vishal Munga, who's joining us from Melbourne, Times Now's consultant correspondent. Vishal, you must tell us what happened. What is the initial report coming in?
So the initial report that is coming in is that the consulate at this place has been, there's been Khalistani flags which have been raised in the area. The matter has been reported to the Queensland police and the police is investigating the matter. You know, this is not the first time this kind of incident happened. Earlier, the temples, Hindu temples, were attacked in Melbourne, in Sydney, and the police has been saying that they've been taking strong action. Several issues have been raised by the Minister of Home Affairs with the Australian government. Even the Minister of External Affairs, Mr. Jaishankar, had raised this issue, and then the Australian government had said that they will take strict action. But indeed, incident after incident is happening and is going unabated. We were talking to several community members. They are really concerned about the security. And in the Indian consulate, raising the Khalistani flag, this flag has been taken down. But what we can tell you is that the Queensland police is right now investigating the matter. No one has been hurt. But indeed, such kind of hate being made against the Hindu temples and the people against the Indian government is a cause of concern for a country for Australia, because Australia is considered to be a friendly country of India. Indeed, what we know right now is that the Queensland police is investigating the matter and they will really look into the matter. The Indian company is confident that the Australian government and the Australian police will really provide them security and safety.
Has there been a revival of the Khalistani movement there? Because there have been several such attacks in the past as well on temples where there have been pro-Khalistani chants which have been splashed. And this is not happening just in India, but specifically in Australia as well. Who's funding it?
See, there has been a lot of allegation that Six for Justice organization, which is a terror organization in India, which is banned organization, is funding these Khalistani groups. And there's been a referendum going on in Melbourne. There's been referendum going on in Sydney. And now Queensland, this kind of incident has happened. So this is again being seen as a revival of Khalistan. But what I can tell you is that there's huge funding going on by these terror groups, and the Australian government doesn't seem to understand the gravity of the situation. Several Hindu organizations, when this referendum was taking place, had written to the government that these referendums should not take place because they are being funded by a terror group. But the Australian government said that it is a multicultural organized society. They cannot really stop anyone, so that is why they did not stop it. But the violence which occurred in Melbourne had really shocked everyone. The strong message which need to be sent by the Australian government, that is not being sent. That is what the concern of the Indian community at large is. They think that the Australian government is not understanding the gravity of the situation. They are not sending a strong message. Although at the highest level this matter has been taken up, but still there are allegations that this could be because of some politics, which is why these strong actions has not been taken against these Khalistani groups. That is the concern of the Indian community living here in Australia.
You're absolutely right. In fact, you have the honorary consul, Archana Singh, who has told one of the local dailies, I'm going to quote her here, that the police is surveying the area to keep us safe. We have strong faith in the police authorities. However, repeatedly, we've seen the police forces in Australia failing to realize the extent of the Khalistani threat, which is looming large over this time around, even the Indian Consulate, which has been attacked along with the temples there. Hopefully, they're going to wake up before it's too late. Those are the first few visuals which are coming in. A Khalistani flag which has been put up outside the Consulate of India in Brisbane.